So, in music news, I see that the Beastie Boys are releasing a 5-part anthology. Yeah, parts A to D are free, but you have to fight for your right to part E.
God!
In other news, apparently you can't use beef stew as a password. It's not stroganoff.
Oh!
Hey. Hold on.
I said that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Artist homage.
Okay.
Not steal. And finally, I'd just like to say that my wife, Carol, she threatened to leave me because of my disgusting habits. I was so shocked I almost choked on my toenails. Anyway, hello everyone.
You promised us only 2, and there we are at the end of 3.
I lied. You hear me? I lied. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to Black Dog 158. I'm Lee.
I am Brother Darren.
Brother Darren. Go on.
Yes, come worship. Come worship at the Church of the Friar.
Oh, good Lord.
Or should I say Friar Darren? I'm Friar Darren.
Yeah.
There
Friar
you go.
Darren. Oh, good Lord.
Friar Darren, yeah.
Yes. Jim?
Kid hell. Oh, that must be Father Jim then, doesn't it?
I am Satan Elton.
Satan Elton. Nice. Hello, everyone.
Elton, the unbeliever!
I want a young priest and an old priest. Anyway, yes. Hello, everyone. Back on track. Yes, welcome to Black Dog 158. I've said that about a dozen times now. And
You sure it's 158?
I'm
157
hoping,
or 159?
I genuinely don't know at this point. This intro should have only taken 30 seconds of bad jokes and got the fuck out, but apparently it's going to take 5 minutes. Yes, we're going to see how everyone's week's been. As
Nearly
ever.
said it again, didn't you?
I nearly did. I nearly did. And then what we'll do is we'll see if there's any feedback for last week's episode, which was Rebel Moon. We're off to Rebel Moon. We'll follow Mr. Spoon. So we'll see if there's anything for that pile of old shite. And if not, then all the better. But if there is, we'll read it out. And then finally, we're on to this week's movie, which is your pick, Jim, which is
Saltburn.
Oh,
no.
Yes.
Are we not going to get copyright struck for this one?
I don't care.
No, I'm just going to say no over the top of it all the time. So
I'm sorry,
don't
what?
worry.
I just need to remove some clothing. I feel I need to get naked.
Hold on. I'm feeling it. Oh, there we go. Get the energy up.
Well,
Bring
to
it
keep
on.
that in, haven't we got to review the tune? Sort of like, to beat. Oh well, the tune by SOPHIE Ellis. Baxter there, it's the classic. Yeah. I think it's all a thumbs up from everybody here, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That counts as a review.
Fantastic. It does. 4 stars.
And less than 30 seconds. So there you go.
Yeah.
We're
That's it. We're done. We're
done.
legal. That's
we're
it.
legal. We can
We're
use
legal.
that. Brilliant.
Yep.
Fantastic. Illustrative purposes only. Anyway, yes. So we'll be doing Saltburn, and for good or ill, it's going to be an interesting conversation.
Isn't it just?
Isn't it just? But before we get going, let's get back on track. Let's get this show back on the road before it even rolled off. So, Jim, let's start with you, sir. How was your week?
Yes.
Brilliant. Elton, how was your week?
bit
Sorry, go on, carry on, Jim.
No, I had to go back to the doctors this week.
Oh, God. Oh. Hello?
Has he just gone to the doctors?
I think that's what it was. He's not actually telling us he's been to the doctors. He's saying, I'm just going to the doctors. Laters. That was the door.
Peace out.
Yeah, there was a door.
With black bits.
Oh, hang on, Jim.
He's back. He's back.
You got it this jar, certainly, no problem.
What?
Hey,
hello.
hello.
That was an interesting, surreal moment. We heard the door. You said, "I'm off to the doctors." The door closed, and then it all went quiet.
Weird.
And then your entire conversation came streaming back at us. So you're going to the doctors.
I went to the doctors.
Right, okay, you've been to the doctors. Yes.
Yeah, since before Christmas, I had a bad cough involving coughing up a lot of unpleasant stuff, and the colour was going, that shouldn't be that colour. I'm not smoking 50 Camels a day. There shouldn't be black sooty bits in it.
No.
So you went to the doctors and kind of says, here we are, a sample of that. That's not right, is it? She said, no. Okay. So samples went to the lab, and it turns out actually because my immune system is still somewhat knackered after chemo, I've picked up basically kind of a fungal infection. So exactly what it was black was a mold.
Oh God!
But it's apparently if your immune system is a bit knackered, you're very prone to this. 'Cause it's like a common mold that's in the air, and most people's immune system just kick it out.
Right.
But once it gets in, it can be a bit of a bugger to shift. So I'm on these super duper antibiotics for a week. Right. Which is fine because you can drink on them. Hurrah.
Huzzah. There you go.
Yeah, it actually says you're completely fine to drink alcohol with these. So rock on.
Yeah.
However, there was a catch. And the catch is you can't have any milk, cheese, yogurt, or basically anything with a lot of calcium or zinc in it. 2 hours before you take one.
Right.
Or 2 hours after taking one.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. So it's black coffees all the way, is it?
Well, yeah, if I was up to doing black coffees anymore, which I'm not.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, oh, Christ. It's not so bad, but it's that first cup of tea that gets delayed.
Oh, no.
Almost sounds like instructions for looking after a mugwai, doesn't it? Really?
Well, it is. You know? It's nearly. Don't get them wet. Don't eat the cheese.
Don't feed them cheese. Actually, I was more concerned that you were about to become like patient zero in The Last of Us, to be honest, when you started saying about fungal infections. And then, oh no.
Oh no, apparently there's a lot of them about actually that you can actually get. But usually it's only if your immune system's a bit knackered. Normally your body deals with them. So I'm like halfway through the course and it's kind of counting the days. But I need to say, I had one this morning and then I had one at tea time. So it's kind of, 9 o'clock, I'm good for a cup of tea again with milk in it. And after you finish here tonight, cheese on toast.
Oh,
yes. But it's one of those things, it's not really that much of a hardship, but it's because it's that thing, if someone says you can't do it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I'll kill for a yogurt now. I never have yogurt. I hate yogurt. There's no chocolate involved or booze or smack. Fuck yogurts. But you can't have a yogurt. Oh, I really fancy one now.
I want a pint of Yakult right fucking now. Motherfucker, spread that over that cheese on toast, and I want it wrapped up in a big raclette, in a wheel of cheese.
Yeah, I could get out the raclette machine.
Ooh. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so
there you are. Fun and antibiotics.
Fun on antibiotics.
That's been my week, basically.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's.
But having said that, it's kind of within a couple of days. Actually, the cough really has subsided quite dramatically, and it's kind of okay. So they are working,
right?
And I don't seem to get any side effects, which you can get from them. So that's all good. So I just ride it out to, hopefully, I think Saturday morning. Cup of tea as soon as I wake up again. Yes.
there's just I've just got a vision of you being like the guy getting covered in Mr. Stay Puft at the end of Ghostbusters, but it's a big pot of fondue. You're just standing there going, "Ah, fondue!" Standing there, Teresa, throw the cheese.
That could happen.
Be standing in the shower while she pelts you with that full fat milk. Yes!
More baby bells.
More baby bells. Dairy Lee triangles. Give them to
Taste
me
the bells
now.
of baby.
Milk that cow directly into my face. Anyway, right, there you go. Clearly, I've had one too many teas, to be honest. Cool. Anything else, sir?
No, I think I'll leave that mayhem there. My job here is done.
Okay, the job is your work here is done. Okie dokie.
Yeah, I could tell you about inventing the one song musical to cut down copyright costs, but I'll leave that for a slow week.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. You keep that on the back burner when we've all got nothing to say and we haven't got at least a 3-hour fucking review coming down the pipe. Right. Okay, then. Well, then over to you then, Elton.
Okay, well, I've only had one thing that I've done this week,
Mm-hmm.
and that is watch a film.
Ooh.
And it was, I think, released in December of last year, and it's called Leave the World Behind.
Ah, I've
right.
watched that as well. So
Oh, have you?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. So go on, carry on.
Okay, so I enjoyed it.
Mm.
I think I need to watch it again.
Mm.
Darren, have you seen this?
No, not yet.
No?
I want to. It's on the list.
Okay, cool. Jim, have you seen it?
I've not, no.
Okay, I won't be spoiling anything or anything like that.
But we will be. But you will be putting that on the list as your choice for next week.
No, I won't be. No, don't
Okay.
worry. I've mulled over what I want to do for next week.
Okay.
And, I'm really disappointed that one of them has been removed. I'm like, fuck you know. Ah,
Thank
we'll
fuck.
get to that later.
Thank
Thank fuck from your perspective. Yes, don't worry.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, we elude you again.
It was actually going to be G.I. Joe.
I bet it was fucking
it-
Rise of Cobra or something.
Yeah,
Jesus
and
Christ.
it's
I
come
see.
off of Amazon. It's like, for fuck's sake.
G.I. Joe is starting to become the Matt Damon of our Jimmy Kimmel sort of show where they go, oh, it's too late now. We weren't going to have Matt Damon on the show.
Yeah,
And,
it's too late.
We weren't going to pick G.I. Joe this week.
Yeah, he's going to double down. We're going to get Fast and the Furious, I guarantee you.
Oh, God, no. No, I wouldn't do that.
Thank fuck for that. No.
The UE Bowl version.
Anyway, sorry, carry on, Elton.
Okay, so Leave the World Behind. It's full of beautiful shots all over the place.
Yes.
And it's leaving you wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And it ponders this question for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it leaves you.
Yeah, I did watch it. I did watch it as well. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it's not a satisfying film.
It's a film I thought that got better as it went on.
Yeah.
Does it do a Sopranos then? Does it, like, as they're about to explain it, it suddenly cuts off?
I can't really say. It's not saying that it does, and it's not saying it doesn't. It's just saying that I think the less you know, probably the better, or the more you'll have to think about.
Right, okay.
It is a thinky film. I think there are a couple of cringy moments in there, and a couple of moments where I'm just like, I don't really. It's really hard to explain it with like trying to keep the spoilers away from everyone.
Yeah,
but I would recommend, if we're gonna do it on the docket, then don't go watch it. But if we're not going to, then because I'm not going to be putting it up for this week, so don't worry.
No.
So I would say try and watch it as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Before it is royally spoiled for you.
Yeah, it's one of those films. It's one of those films that you kind of, if someone tells you it and tells you things about it, they'll put their own spin on it, and you won't experience it in the way I think it's intended, which is that you watch it, you go, this is what I think, and then you meet someone else who's watched it, and they go, well, I think this. But if you listen to someone's opinion on it, you'll come away thinking what they think, seeing what they see.
Got you.
I know that's probably the best way of putting it, because it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan thing where they just kind of go, and the reveal is everyone was a ghost or something like that. It leaves everything ambiguously. But the ambiguousness means that you can all sit there with your chin strokey pipes and go, I think it means this. The three-legged dog is America, or whatever. But
it's not gone down the Damon Lindelof route of ha ha ha. What about this?
Yes,
I know everything's in a shoebox.
Yes. we're not going to explain it to you, but we could. You know, it doesn't do any of that. But it is open to interpretation. So the less you speak to someone about it, the more, and just watch it and make your own mind up first, I think the better the discussion would be of it.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it a lot more as it went on. And I found myself getting into it a hell of a lot more than what I think I went into it after the trailer going, okay, not quite sure what's going on here. Prove me wrong. And it starts off quite slow. I nearly bailed on it, but I'm glad I didn't, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely an interesting film. I think it's worth a watch and certainly worth a chat about. But I'll go along with that. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I found there were certain elements of it that I was sitting there going, "Oh, that's interesting," but I can't say anything because it will ruin it all.
Yeah, fair enough.
So maybe when we're in the green room, we have a cup of tea and Jim and Darren bugger off, we can have a little chat. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's a good film. It's an interesting film. Let's put it that way.
Yes, yeah. I think you're right. People will come with different perspectives, so it encourages debate about it. It encourages a good old talk and chinwag about it. So yeah, it is a good thinker and a good discussion piece.
Yeah. I can see why certain people didn't like it. That's for sure. But I can also see, well, I liked it. So make of that what you will.
Cool. Well, that was my week.
Well, amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. Lovely. That's your week, sir.
Yes. Honestly, nothing else.
Nothing else.
No.
So, yeah, Leave the World Behind, and that's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. Best film I've seen all year.
Hang on. Powder dry. As far as by my count, you've only seen 3. Okay, cool. Right. And what about you then, Dal? How's your week, mate?
It's a pretty slow week this week. 2 things. It comes to my realisation that I have never actually fully read H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds. So what I found on my Audible collection, I've got the H.G. Wells collection. So it's got, The Invisible Man and, the Honoured Dr. Moreau. And the first one on the list on there is War of the Worlds and being read by David Tennant, which I didn't know. So started playing that. And
so you still haven't read it then?
No, I still haven't read it. But I thought I'd play it anyway as sort of like, play in the background. I've got to say, I don't know what Jeff Wayne, how he condensed down the actual story to what he did. It's kind of throwing me a bit now because it's like, but I really like the musical, but I'm actually really liking this as well. So I'm having to now, in my mind, I've set it out as these were 2 totally different individuals going on these journeys because they're totally unlike one another. It's, things like you discover that, I discover that the things like the artilleryman, there's no such thing as the artilleryman in it.
No.
Well, there is. There's a guy that turns up for 5 minutes, 2 seconds, but he doesn't sound anything like David Essex at all.
Well, he probably sounds a bit like David Tennant, to be honest.
He did, actually. Funny enough, David Tennant tried to do a cockney accent. So, which he wasn't too bad at, but mostly he read it out in his Scottish accent. The thing that I found quite, weird and a bit exciting was the fact that the story itself takes place around where I currently live. Okay. And so it's him mentioning places that I know and I've been to. Things like Woking and, like the Common, the Horsell Common and stuff like this. So they get a mention in the book. But it's when he actually mentioned where I live. It was like, oh, David Tennant knows where I live. David Tennant knows where I come from.
Hang on. So what you're saying is there is actually a copy of H.G. Wells's The War of the Worlds where it says, and suddenly the Martians strode purposefully across the Horsell Common and over Darren's house.
Yep, that's right. Yep. And they had Darren could see his house. They picked Darren up and you could see his house from there.
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
Yes.
But,
Abruptly, the lid fell off, and Darren could hear it all the way down to the chippy.
Yeah,
Darren, the man with the new sofa.
Yes,
Indeed.
the Martians delivered via DFS the sofa made of pizza boxes.
They saw the sofa and they were jealous.
As they took away the old sofa, the diseases that rose from the fetid sponge saved the human race.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. So that's
There
what
you
they got.
go.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I've got to say, the one part of the musical that I really love, which is the whole Thunderchild sequence, compared to what is in the book, the one in the musical is just like there's a boat over there. That's it. Right. Anyway, moving on. Because I'm not joking. The Thunderchild in the written version just goes completely fucking bonkers, right? The Martians in the book, or in the musical, it's like, the steamer turns around and it fires its guns and it takes a Martian out, and then the Martians take it out.
Yeah.
It sinks to the bottom. Not like that in the book. No. You see, they're a bit more clever in the book. So what they do is they get the steamer and they just drive it towards the Martians. And they don't do anything at all. And the Martians kind of look at it as if like, what the fuck is that? And they're still staring at it until it gets right up under their noses. Right. And then they just go, fuck it. And then they just fire everything.
He had such a way with words, old Hubert, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Until they drove the boat up to him, and then they just said, fuck it.
Wow.
And they just fucking go for it. And it's not just one Martian war machine they take out. It's like 3 of them that go down before the fucking... Even when they hit the Thunderchild with the heat ray, the thing is still moving through the water, and it manages to take one out just by crashing into it. And that's it.
Right.
It's like, that was so much more exciting than the one in the musical.
Right. Okay. Well,
fucking hell, Jeff, you could have put all that in there, mate.
Yes. Well, I'll be honest with you. It probably doesn't work as well as a musical, that moment,
But it worked well, but I didn't know that there was this much stuff in it. Like I know there were ships of shapes and sizes. I know it does that bit there. It's quite exciting, but then again, I think I see your point. How could they describe that? They were sneakily tiptoeing up to the Martians across the bay. They were whistling, doo, 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 doo. I'm not looking at the Martians, I'm just a plank of metal. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, does it? No.
And he sailed towards the legs there, and the Martians didn't see that the big old boat had big guns, and they were coming up on the knees. But then the Martians spotted the boat and thought for a while, then thought down and looked down at the boat and went, fucking have it!
They realised it was being driven by Danny Dyer.
Fucking take it, Thunderchild. I mean, it doesn't quite trip off the tongue, I'll be honest with you. No,
it doesn't.
No,
I mean, exciting piece of writing, but yeah. So there was that. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that. That's, I'm nearly at the end of it now. So, which say, but then I've got another 23 hours worth of H.G. Wells' stories to get through after that. So, yes, very much
cool.
Looking forward to that.
And
but the other thing, the other piece of media that I did consume this week was a series that came out a little while ago and is causing quite a bit of a stink now.
You're
for all the right reasons.
Going to talk about Gladiators.
No, yeah, Gladiators. No, not Gladiators. I didn't actually watch that over the weekend. I've heard that I should do though, because it's it's like they never went away. This is
no. You shouldn't. It's just that every fucking Uncle Tom Cobley and everyone is talking about it. So fuck it.
Okay, then fine. I'll leave that well alone.
Yeah.
But no, the piece of the thing I watched this week was Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Oh yes.
Jesus fucking H Christ is all I've got to say. for the first episode, I think it was like 10, 15 minutes into it, and my blood was already boiling watching this show.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. For anybody who doesn't know what it's about a bloke called Mr. Bates versus the post office, quite literally.
In a punch-up in the car park.
In a punch-up in a car park. The thing is, way back at the start of, I think it was in 2000, I think that's when it started off, the post office accused quite a few of its sub-postmasters of fraud.
Between 700 and 900.
Yeah, 700 and 900. Fraud of which they weren't guilty of. Nope. And it was all down to a system called Horizon that they'd installed.
Yes. That is in the news right now.
That is in the news right now. And to tell you the truth, every day there's something else that keeps coming out about this. But I don't know if anybody's seen the clip of Ian Heslop going fucking hell for leather at the Tory MP.
Oh yes,
in the interview. Any minute I'm looking at him thinking, any minute now he's going to fucking get up, jump across that desk, and he's going to punch this bloke one.
Ian Hislop went there. Yeah. He was talking across the desk. The Tory little minister was trying his best. Fucking have it.
It's man, just. But I must admit, the MP did actually. He said the wrong thing. He thought he was trying to be. He thought he was trying to be clever. He thought he was trying to be helpful. And he said, "Oh well, if they're still getting accused of this, we could pass a legislation tomorrow." And that was when Ian Heslop fucking took it up a notch. And he's like, "So let me get this straight. They go through all these years, people not believing them, right? Yeah. People not getting them into court and dealing with this thing for the last 20 years. And all of a sudden, I say this to you, and tomorrow you'll have legislation put in place. Is that right?"
Yeah.
It's just, oh man, there is just so much to this. I can't even go into it now, but I would highly recommend people go onto the ITV player and just calling up. We just went through all 4 episodes.
Internationally, it's on BritBox.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you want to watch this, but it is absolutely fucking shocking.
Yeah, the bit you missed out was just to finish off your story was the fact that they'd been accused of fraud because the Horizon system was actually corrupt and basically it was flawed. It was more than that.
No, it wasn't even that. Fujitsu, who weren't supposed to have remote access to the postmasters' PCs, had remote access to the postmasters' PCs, and they were going in adjusting figures as the postmasters were actually working.
Nice.
And they also said that the postmasters were supposed to have notification of anybody makes any changes. Absolutely no record of anybody going in and making any changes at all.
So it was all a massive cover-up as well as doing innocent people for fraud.
There's also a thing that came out, I think it was today, about the fact that I think it was the post office offered the investigators cash rewards for every single persecution or every single person prosecution that they got. And so that was incentive for them to actually just go for it.
Find answers even when there weren't any.
Yep. The good news is I think a law has been there's been some laws passed now that stops any of this shit going on anymore for the actual people that were involved, and they're getting their money back as well. All those people that lost money.
Well, it's not just money; it's losing their jobs, their livelihood. I mean, there's so much.
People
stuff.
Committed suicide over this.
Yeah,
you do actually see. Yeah. You do actually see one postmaster whose resolve is slowly crumbling, and he goes into a fit of depression, and then he ends his own life.
Yeah,
and it's just that wasn't the only one either. There were quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah, and and it's still going on 20 years later, and they're still arguing about it, and it's like, how can you argue about it? I mean, today in the news, Fujitsu basically said it's our fault.
There you go.
They literally owned up to it and said we are morally responsible for all, reparations.
Yep. But
so
it's not only them though. That's the thing. There were people who just in the government who just let this go. Didn't want to deal with it.
No.
Gave them more contracts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave the woman who was in charge at the time a fucking OBE recently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. CBE.
Or CBE. There's been a big campaign to get that fucking taken off her.
She's giving it back now.
Good.
She's giving it back. But the problem is it all comes down to sort of like inherent corruption. Look at the corruption inherent in the system. I mean, it is. It's that whole thing of, we don't care if it's actually affecting other people. The idea is that, the unspoken thing going on in the background is we're all getting kickbacks off it.
Yeah.
And everyone's making
and
money.
We can't lose face, but the little person, fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And it was when they all phone up that same Horizon helpline and they all get told the same thing. Well, we haven't had any other complaints from anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is after you see about the 20th person call up and talk about this. Oh, we've not received any other complaints. And nobody else is experiencing a problem.
Yeah. Nobody else today, as in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. As in, as you're calling right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you're on the only line we've got. Yeah.
Indeed. But you know what? Performances all round, absolutely stunning job done by every single person in that show. Especially Toby Jones, of course.
Yep.
And Ian Hart as well, and the guy that was in what the fuck is his name? The guy who used to be in 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisp, who's in this as well.
Will Mellor.
Will Mellor, that's it. Him as well. Especially the scene when they hear about one of the postmasters has taken his own life. The bit that follows that is just Christ Almighty. It's weighty punch. It really is. It's just so it's really well done. So it, as I say, it's on BBC. It's on ITV Player, or as you said, Lee, BritBox.
Yeah.
And I would suggest everybody just taking some time just watching that program.
Yeah, it's only 4 episodes. It's not like a massive time investment.
No, it isn't. You'll have it done in less than 4 hours. It's like 3.5 hours long. That's it in total. But it's absolutely essential TV. It really is.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So there we go. That's me done.
That's you done, is it?
I'm spent. Yep.
And I'm spent. Okay. Cool. Right. Well, in my week, mainly it's been watching various TV shows, picking up new episodes and stuff. Firstly, Reacher. Still maintain that's a great, what they're calling dad punchy action TV show. It is as corny as Keller's cornflakes, but the minute Reacher gets a bad guy and puts him through a fucking door, it's just like, yep. Thanks very much. I'm gonna crush your bollocks now with a table using my foot. I mean, you can't say no to that sort of stuff. Seeing the bad guys get a proper bad comeuppance, I like it.
Every clip I've seen of that show, there's a couple of ones that stand out. Apart from the carjacking one, there's also the one where he's in prison. He's undercover as another prisoner who's trying to protect this bloke. Who's in a cell with him, who gets picked on by a bunch of inmates.
Yep.
Fucking brilliant. Love it.
That's nothing. There is so many moments of him just he's as blunt as fuck, and it's kind of refreshing. But
kicking the bonnet of the car, as you mentioned as well. That fantastic.
Yeah, in the latest episode, one guy reaches for a gun, and Reacher basically uses a desk to turn his bollocks into Swiss cheese. Which is it was quite something, and he's just like, go on, you reach for the gun, but that won't be the quickest thing you've ever done in your life. It's silly, but it's great fun. I enjoy it every episode.
Real good escape.
Yeah, you Darren would love it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Guarantee
I'm
you.
sure. We go,
Guarantee
yes.
Every episode is yes. So there's Reacher. I've started watching Bosch.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm really sort of late to the party with, but I'm really enjoying that as well. Which is a sort of based on the Michael Connelly detective books, sort of like the airport thrillers that you pick up, read before the plane's even landed.
Wasn't that like out before, like 2016?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I'm really late to the party on the whole thing, but it's again, it's one of those kind of like, we're just picking up on TV shows at the moment. And I mean, I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice, solid, well-acted, gritty detective thriller. It's not too dark and horrible, but it is quite interesting.
That's it. Titus Welliver, isn't it?
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, so I'm only on season 2 of that at the moment, but I'm digging it. I'm really enjoying it. But then the other one I picked up, because I foolishly thought, well, you know what? Let's give it a go. It's only 6 episodes. How long can it be? Good Omens 2.
Ah, okay.
Now, I don't know if you guys ever saw Good Omens 1 or what you thought about it, and if you read the books, or rather the book, what you thought of that. But the book for me is one of my favourite books.
Oh, yes.
No two ways about it.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The TV show, bit all over the place. I admired it for giving it a go, but not really my thing. But I thought, nope, you know what? Second season's coming along. It's not bound by the books, so it's not trying to do that kind of like fitting Terry Pratchett style humour, which is mainly asides into front and centre live action. So let's see where this goes. And I've done 4 episodes out of 6, and I can't be arsed with it anymore. I really can't.
Even fans of the original season, the first season, they're like, what is this?
It's weird because it's kind of like, on the one hand, the story is approximately, I'd imagine if you actually took the actual story moments from 4 hours of actual footage that I've watched so far, the story is approximately 25 minutes. And the rest of it seems to be this mad obsession with trying to over to gild the lily when it comes to the 2 main characters.
Right.
So the main characters, for those who don't know, one's Aziraphale, played by Michael Sheen, who's like an angel. And then you've got David Tennant as Crowley, who's this demon, and they're both on Earth, and the long and the short of it is they've held a truce because really they're quite happy with being on Earth and they don't want the apocalypse to happen. So they're not supposed to work together, but they do kind of work together, but in the shadows, so that they can stop both sides from starting a holy war and causing Armageddon. And that was the first book and the TV show. And it's like, and then there are lots of riffs and nods and piss takes of The Omen thrown in for good measure. The second, but all the way through the TV show, what they did was, rather than just refer to like the fact that these two, this angel and demon, have known each other since the very dawn of time, what they do is they keep doing little flashbacks, like Highlander. You know, in Highlander, when you sort of like, you'll watch a bit of the actual plot and then it'll kind of jump back to sort of like, I don't know, 1913 or something, just before the start of World War One, or something like that. And there'll just be this sort of little interaction that they have, which kind of changes perspective on particular events. Well, because there's not much of a plot in season 2, which seems at the moment to be, I mean, we've done 4 episodes out of 6, and I'm still only sure that it's just a rehash of the original plot. And you get whole episodes now which are the asides. So the comical asides going back in time are now just front and center, and they'll make a whole episode of like, oh, how did Crowley and Aziraphale do walking around, working together as a magic act in 1945 Britain, in London. It's like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
So I have seen the full thing, so I can just chip in.
Yeah, sure.
I think it suffers from, like a lot of these series, it wanders in the middle. It does all come back round, but there's a couple of I think it's 3 and 4 are very flashback heavy.
Yeah.
And as you said, they are aside to the main story. It doesn't get back to the plot, but it is kind of, I thought the joy of streaming was you could set your number of episodes to the size of your story. And everyone seems to have forgotten that.
Yeah.
Someone's decided everything must be 8 episodes or something these days.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And and that's what I got. It's kind of, I don't want to say criminal, because as you say, you've watched all 6 episodes, so you know where it's going. But for me, if 2/3 of your runtime is unnecessary flashback, you've got to kind of question whether or not there was a point to it all. And maybe they do circle back, but by now it's like my patience has run out. Because the first 2 episodes are kind of like, okay, well, let's see where this is going. This is interesting. One of the archangels has basically gone missing, and he's just turned up in the middle of Brewer Street. And they, and this Aziraphale's shop, and now the agents of hell and the agents of heaven are trying to find him. And he can't remember who he is. Played by John Hamm, who is actually quite funny. But the thing is, it's like that plot was pretty much laid out and dealt with, and then sort of the mystery was put in place in episode 1. Episode 2 was kind of like, what do we do now? How do we fix it? And then episodes 3 and 4, as you say, Jim, are just 2 extended flashbacks. And it feels like they're just going to bolt for the end in the last 2 episodes. And it's just like, it feels uneven, unsatisfying. And, at the moment it's just getting by purely on the charm and charisma of the actors involved. Like I say, John Hamm seems to be having a whale of a time playing sort of the Archangel Gabriel via Forrest Gump. David Tennant is literally chewing on everything that isn't nailed down in terms of his acting. Michael Sheen is really good as Aziraphale, who's sort of like super innocent, but having his eyes open to like shades of grey in humanity. So there's things like that where you kind of admire it, but just the plot just seems to be kind of meandering all over the place, and there's kind of subplots about getting 2 people together who work in the same street. It's like, someone even refers to it as a Richard Curtis subplot, sort of stuff just thrown out there. And it's like, yeah, but really? Are we really doing this? And it was just, for me, it's just kind of, it all just kind of went a bit deflated. I'm, as I said to Carol this evening when I finished episode 4, I said, if I watch any more, it's going to be a hate watch. Because it's just sitting there going, impress me now. Because it's kind of burnt up its goodwill. But if you're saying it's worth sticking with, Jim, then maybe I'll take a look at it. But
actually, I think I enjoyed the second series more than the first because it was nothing to do with the book.
Yes,
but looking back, it could have been tighter. It definitely could have been tighter, and I don't know. I think kind of it feels very sort of weirdly transatlantic, and I think with both series, the problem is for me is there's a lot to like about them, but there's some things it's just kind of okay. That feels like American humor, and that feels like British humor, and they don't always overlap.
No,
and it's sort of 2 different tones sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of because Good Omens, I think, is very, very English, very, very British, and that's largely the part of the driving humor of it, and it is kind of it feels, it's hard to describe because it's one of those very nebulous things, but there is a difference, and there's a difference to how the American cast and how the British cast are doing comedy as well. And it's about how far you're under and overplaying it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think it all sits entirely right for me.
No, it is that whole thing of translating a book. Do you go verbatim or do you make a completely new thing? And that's the problem with season 1, and season 2 just doesn't feel like it knows what it wants. I was hoping that without the sort of restraint of the book, that it would be a bit more free and easy with some of the concepts, but it is still, as you say, it's a bit uneven, to say the least. But anyway, yeah, Good Omens on Amazon. Check it out if you're interested. But yeah, like I say, I might not be reporting back about it next week.
The other thing I would say, though, I think Gaiman said he's envisaged this as like a trilogy,
right?
And so I think series 2 might be suffering from
mid-season thing.
Well, middle section thing. I mean, I know kind of like when The Sandman was being published, the middle chunk of that, a lot of people going, "Where is this going? Oh, what's this all about?" And they just all pull together. So, nice. But we will see. Yeah, if you know what I mean. But it's what I say. There's a lot to like about it, but at the same time, it is kind of there is little clashes and unevenness to it for me that is kind of I'll never get over. I'll be honest. But I'll happily watch season 3 and see how it all finishes.
Cool.
But yeah.
Jim, when you say about the Sandman and the middle bit that people struggle with, is that the Barbie stuff?
Yeah, very much the Doll's House storyline.
Okay, yeah, because I struggled with that.
Oh, is it the one after Doll's House? A Game of You, sorry. That's the one with with Barbie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that really because I was listening to your audiobook about it, and it just kept going back to this thing. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I couldn't visualize it. I just really struggled with it, which is really annoying because the first audiobook, flipping loved that. I thought that was brilliant. There are a couple of dodgy bits with like plays being in there, but overall, especially the scene in the diner as well, that just carried on and on and on. That was amazing. That was brilliant. That was.
Yeah.
And lots of other things, but yeah, the Barbie stuff, I'm not listening to this. This is just in my ears at the moment, and I'm not paying any attention.
Okay. Well, there you go. Right. Okay. Before anyone says any more shows or anything, because I have to write this all down now in media discussed in this episode notes. I'm having to write it all down. Don't say another episode. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Anyway. Right. So that was my week. One last thing before I go. I did get the old pencils and pens out to take part in a Saturday sketch club live at the Royal Academy of Arts.
Ooh. Listen to him, la-di-da.
La-di-da, yes. Saturday sketch club, very nice. So it
Cucumber sandwiches, sir.
Only with the crust cut off. And
Grey poupon.
Yeah, grey poupon. Yes, exactly. I shall have my tea with my finger in the air and only in the finest bone china. No, yeah, it was good. I won't be posting up any pictures that I sketched from it because basically I think
they're all stuck together after you knocked one out over them.
Well, abso-fucking-lutely, because you know what? Life drawing is nothing if not for wanking. No, I mean...
Well, if it's drawn in pencil, we can claim it's art.
Yes.
That's the thing. You see, it doesn't have to be porn. That's art.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, that's art, yeah. Art or arse, take your pick. No, but seriously, though, it was good because I realised that one of the things I do is I put pictures up on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and all these kind of things and go, love me, look at my art. And then get 2 likes, but then I sort of idly doodle a guinea pig with devil horns and everyone goes, fucking amazing. and my soul just leaves my body. You think I'm joking? My biggest ever piece of art on Instagram got like nearly 1,000 fucking thumbs up, and it was Gerald the guinea pig, which was a little satanic guinea pig with bright glowing eyes and little tiny wings, and so many people sent me DMs saying, "Can I use this as a T-shirt logo?" It's like, for fuck's sake!
Oh man, that's so deep, such a deep piece of art there, man. Yeah,
There I am.
see where you're coming from. Yeah.
There I am spending 7 or 8 hours doing a photoreal version of Hugh Jackman from fucking Logan, and everyone's like, "Yeah, one click," and it's just like, "Oh look, it's a guinea pig with wings." It's like, oh, for fuck's sake! So yeah, so I've decided I'm not sharing my art out while I'm doing all these things, but I will be doing more, and I'm really enjoying it because there's no pressure for me to show anybody anything, and it could all be a load of old bollocks, and it doesn't matter. That's my Zen moment for the day. That is, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Anyway, so there you go. That's our weeks. But and speaking of things that don't matter, we have feedback for Rebel Moon episode. Now,
this is going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, funny enough, right? When we do these episodes, we talk about all sorts of shit during our week, and we talk about a film. And do you know what? Sometimes I look at these things and I think, what is going to capture everyone's imagination? So at first, we get a piece of feedback from Murray the Pieman Christensen, who said about Rebel Moon, the scene where someone expositions each character is similar to the one in Sneakers, where someone basically goes through each team member, naming them, stating their backstory, and moving on. The difference,
Richie as well.
Yeah, exactly. The difference is that I don't declare Sneakers, its writer or director, as a modern masterpiece or genius. And second, it is near the start of the film, after we've seen them do something. It's still a cheap method to introduce characters regardless, though. So there you go. So there's a little feedback for Rebel Moon. Sean Gleason also follows up going, "No, you can't have any new Star Wars. You already have Star Wars at home." Rebel Moon is Star Wars at home. Chris Johnson says, "I like Rebel Moon because I can tolerate any old rubbish." Well, and then we have Jeffrey Mark Hyman, who said, "I decided to watch Battle Beyond the Stars at half speed. Sounds like I made the right choice." Then we get a little bit more in-depth feedback, which is from Ian Stead, who's a great spaceship artist. He's on our art station.
Good, yes,
very good, yeah. And he wrote in to say, "What's with the weird blurring? I thought my TV was buggered all my eyes. Oh, and that it's a Mad Max vibe." And then he said, I found the whole thing worse than the overuse of slow-mo. And then he said, "I found the spaceship designs," and here's where it's key, because this man knows what he's talking about with spaceship designs. He goes, "I found the spaceship designs a bit meh. I like to think I know something about designs, as I do them for a living, and too much pew-pew energy weapon fire." And he goes, "It's balls. I can fart better designs." So
I'm going to call, when anybody says, "What's that new Zack Snyder thing on Netflix?" I'm just going to say it's called Star Wish.
Yeah.
Because that's where it comes from. Fucking Star Wars from Wish. That's what you get. This is what you get. Oh, and another thing as well, right? Okay. So this is obviously in a galaxy far, far away, right? And they still come across a bloke from another planet called fucking Derek. What the fuck?
"I'm a Derek, and Derek's don't run. We'll climb up a tree then." Anyway,
I forgot to mention that last week. It's like, when I first heard it, it's like, fucking Derek. The Griffin fucker is called Derek.
Derek. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Then going into the feedback a little bit more on the Facebook group, the tone starts to change on the feedback. We move away from Rebel Moon, and we get David Renane. David Renane, over our man in the Southern Hemisphere, says, "I'm amazed Lee's comments about Nandor Frodor and the Talking Mongoose didn't develop into a lore discussion by Jim on the infamous Jeff the Talking Moose. Talking Mongoose."
That's the Canadian version of
Talking Moose. Yes. What's that about? Anyway, but then, and here we take the right turn down Diagon Alley, right?
Yep.
The rest of the feedback is as follows, and I'll just, see if you can see where it's going. Firstly, Michael Wilding, he writes in to say, I'm a proud member of the Church of the Airfryer.
Ah, bless you, brother.
I must thank you.
Bless you, brother.
Yeah, I must thank you all for the podcast as it saves me from watching terrible films like this one. You provide
Beneath
a very
his eye.
vital service. Yeah. Then we get Chris Johnson. I too am a proud owner of
Bless you, brother.
owner of AVE air fryer. Right. Then we get Peter Organ. Thanks for the plug and for watching this movie, so I didn't have to. However, we're followed up with Rob Haloman Lamont, who says, newest member of the Church of the Air Fryer. In fairness, I've wanted one for a while now. Brother's had one and it's been suggested and has been suggesting one. But Darren and Mr. Moon definitely acted as testimony when to persuade...
Testify, brother.
And I had,
testify.
I had to persuade the rest of the house. And then he's got a picture of a fucking air fryer.
I'm trying to desperately find the fucking opening tune to fucking Halo.
Then Jeffrey Mark Hyman comes in and goes, air fryers are just so dang convenient. Lee and Elton are only hurting themselves.
You know it's true.
Yeah.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome.
And then Ian Stead, glory be to the air fryer and the holy cooking, as it was in the beginning. It is now and shall ever be. World without oil. Amen. I mean,
I can see a T-shirt coming on.
Oh man!
I mean, it was all going.
It's like when I accidentally started with Church of Roy Orbison many years ago. Happening again.
However, there is a lone voice. There is a lone voice in the wilderness. There is a lone voice in the wilderness standing with us, Elton.
Oh, okay. Who?
Reverend Peter Organ. He said, the only air fryer I will let in the rectory. And he's got a picture of Whitbread's flying monk. the pub logo. The
heretic, burn him.
So there you go. Yes. So if you're part of the Church of the Air Fryer, by all means, feel free to send in the feedback as to why you're eulogizing while you're wrong about eulogizing about what is essentially an air dryer, a hair dryer with a bit of chicken in it. And yeah, for the rest of you, if you like to send any feedback in about other things, like Jeff the Talking Mongoose, or the film itself, spaceship designs, you feel free to send them in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or to send them into the Facebook group, where you can jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. And finally, because I didn't really mention it last week, we have a Letterboxd page where I'm putting up pictures, films as I watch them, and also the ones that we review. Okay. Letterboxd, which is Letterboxd, that's letterboxd.com/Black Dog Podcast.
There should be a thread on the Facebook group where people are able to put pictures of their newly born air fryers on there.
Oh, fuck you, man. I thought you were on our side.
No. Then we collate their names and then send them on to the authorities.
We round them up, put them in a field, and bum the bastards. Yeah. Oh, fuck me. Get your Halo shit out of my ears.
It's not even Halo. This is non-copyrighted music, so we're fine. Yeah. Just to be on the safe side. So what did we think of that, gents, that tune there? What was the general feeling?
I feel like it was very quiet, and that can only be a good thing.
Oh, okay. I'll make it louder next time then. Because, God forbid, pardon the pun, that we wouldn't hear the tune properly to review it.
Yeah. Ian Stead. Oh, by the way, Ian Stead, when he said after all the spaceship stuff, and he went, "Glory be the air fryer," I went, This is what betrayal feels like. And he said, and he sent back, "We are Legion."
We are Legion. Yes. We are.
There you go. I think I shall just make a T-shirt, of air fryer T-shirt for the Black Dog faithful, which just says "We are Legion" and just hundreds of air fryers.
Do it, and put like a Borg type thing on the side of it, so it's we are the Borg, we are air fryer.
We are air fryer of Borg.
Exactly.
We are Legion. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, so there you go. So, like I say, send your feedback in your air fryer pictures and your recipes.
I am Kentucky or fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send your favourite air fryer recipes to Jim Moon, care of Darren Barnard.
Oh, please, yes.
Oh, God. I was trying to do it so you'd all be threatened by the fact that I'm
I
doxing you live on air.
I will be publishing an air fry cookbook at some point. Or should I say the holy...
An air fry cookbook? What? Put
the
thing
holy
in air fryer.
That's
it.
It's a fine science, sir. It's a fine science.
Fine science.
Fine
It is.
science.
I hope
Grab
you know.
crumpet, take crumpet out of packaging, put in air fryer, press button, eat.
Oh, you pathetic unbelievers.
Yeah.
You just-
They do not know about the stand.
They don't know about the stand. No, they don't
God.
know about the spray oil either, do they, Jim? No. The holy spray oil.
Oh, Jesus.
Spray oil is your
Spray oil.
friend.
Yes.
Hold on. If it's spray oil, how's it an air fryer if you're using oil? You're heating the oil up.
Yeah, on some things you do need
Well,
a
then
little
it's
bit
not
of
an
oil.
air fryer, is it? It's an oil
it is.
fryer. It's just
Yeah.
using air to heat it instead of other methods.
You've been
Lee?
fooled.
Lee,
Yeah.
how does an oven work, mate?
How does an oven work?
How
Well, it
how
has an
does-
electric
You need
electric
heat
element.
anyway, don't you?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, well,
Yes.
there you go.
So what you're saying
No,
is
that's not the same thing.
So it's an air fryer. So you're telling me that an air fryer is basically just an electric oven, in which case you've been double duped.
No, it's not just an electric oven, Lee. It's an air fryer.
Yeah, frying.
I don't understand where the confusion is here.
How are you frying air?
How
And
can
if
you
you're-
hope to be saved come
The
the
air
apocalypse?
does the frying, like
Yes,
the
the air
electric
does
does the cooking in an oven or a
The
gas
electric,
cooker.
the electric doesn't do the cooking. The electric heats up the air in an oven that gets circulated around and cooks the food.
I'll tell you what, we'll have you down the re-education camp. We really will. Right? Okay.
Oh, God. You're going to have me in
That's
one of
your
those
lot.
Ludvigo technique machines from fucking Clockwork
Exactly.
Orange, aren't you?
Yep, that's right.
Playing Halo at me while pieces of chicken fry in an air fryer.
I'm gonna,
How
I'm
many
gonna,
lights do you see?
Four!
No, it says 200 degrees. Get it right.
How many chicken
4
nuggets?
minutes to go.
How many?
It's time to turn them over.
4 lights! And in fact, hold on, why would you have to turn it over if the air is circulating around it? That's not frying. That's just drying out with style.
So many
Nah,
questions.
don't you turn things over in a frying pan?
No.
Yes,
You don't,
do,
so you
lie.
only cook one side.
That's why half of my food is raw.
Oh, it's you and Sting, isn't it? I like Mo Toast down
No,
on one
no.
side.
Lee doesn't turn it over. He puts it in, forgets about it, and then someone runs to the kitchen and goes, "Oh, bloody hell," turns it over for him.
Yep.
Well, funny
Job's a
enough,
good one.
funny you mention that. I made roast dinner on Sunday, and I was doing really well. And then I made I put the veg into the pot to boil, to sort of boil the veg, and I left it for 10 minutes. And I thought, well, you know what? I've got 10 minutes. I left it going. I went in the living room, and what you might have not know, because I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, is since 2017 I haven't had a sense of smell. What I didn't know was that the water boiled over and put out the gas hob.
Oh no!
Oh.
I can't see what went wrong. Here, let me just light this match.
Yeah,
Good job you're not a smoker, isn't it, really?
yeah. I'm just going to turn the light on. No!
You see a flash come from the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, luckily we spotted it before I tried to relight the bloody hob again.
He stumbles out the kitchen looking like Frankenstein's bride with a beard.
Yeah. I look like Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, just blown apart. Anyway, yes, just so you know, just a little aside. But, yeah. Anyway, I don't understand air fryers. They scare me. their pointlessness and your cult addiction to these
just
things.
Just give yourself over. Just accept it. Just go for it. Just try one.
No,
Don't
I'm
listen
not.
to him. Don't listen.
I'm not falling in for this fucking Donald Sutherland invasion of the body snatchers bullshit.
Stay strong.
I am Leonard Nimoy. Yes. Just give yourself over, man.
Right. I think we should stop there and get ready for the review, because this is all getting a little bit too cultish. So
my pick for this week is Jamie Oliver's air frying cookery course. Yes.
Do you know what? We probably get more feedback on that than we get on fucking anything else we do. 70 people sending in the same picture of the same piece of shriveled chicken saying, "Oh, it's lovely," as they snap it in half.
Ah, ye of little faith. Yeah, just...
All we need is the oil to fry it in, the air fryer, the oil.
No, you just coat the outside of it. That's all you do.
Yeah, so it cooks in oil.
Oh,
which is an oil fryer.
Okay, come the rapture, you will understand. Okay, this is it.
Fuck it. You know what?
When the mothership turns up, mate, you'll be first down the salt mine. You really will.
Fuck you. You know what? I'm just going to dance. I'm just going to bring it on. I think it's time we have the review.
Can I just ask?
Go on.
Just ask, while you're dancing to this one, do you feel a bit of a knob?
Right. Anyway, roll the jingle. Right. So, Saltburn. Yes, Saltburn is a 2023 psychological thriller written, directed and co-produced by Emerald Fennell, starring Barry Keoghan, and it is pronounced Keegan, Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike,
Jacob Elordi,
Richard
E. Grunt, and Oliver Allison. That's got it right.
That's it. That's sorted it. Lordy Jacob. So Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant, Alison Oliver, Archie McCowdwey. Madakwe? Archie Madakwe.
Somebody call the police. He's murdering people's names.
I'm not going to Klingon then.
Kapla!
Kaplunk.
And Buckaroo. 2 games for MB. Anyway. So, yes, it's set in Oxford and Northamptonshire, England. It focuses on Oxford University student who becomes fixated with a popular aristocratic fellow student at his university, and who later invites him to spend summer at his eccentric family estate. Now, I won't say much more than that because we want to keep away from the plot spoilers until we start doing the review. Interestingly, there is no budget on this one. We have absolutely no budget, and it was funded by MGM, which is now owned by Amazon, so they're not giving out any details at all, except for the box office, which is very odd because it was only in the box office. It was only in the cinema for about 2 months. So, how much do you think it made in the UK, Darren?
How much do I think it made in the UK?
Yeah, because I don't think it got a worldwide release, which wasn't on streaming.
Oh, right, okay. I would say, let's see now. One busted bicycle, and a couple of dodgy bottles of drink.
Okay, cool. Elton.
I was going to say one flat tire.
Okay,
but I'll say one rubber horse mask.
Okay.
Yes.
And Jim, what about you?
Ask the fucking Tom then.
Eat the fucking pie. Well, I don't think I can top that. So we'll just go with Jim being right. There you go. There you go. Brilliant. Yes. Right. We'll go around the table. That threw me a bit, actually. I'll give you that, Jim. Yes. While I compose myself. So we'll go around the table, do a quick non-spoilery short review of what we thought of it. Jim, you'll go last because it was your pick, and then we'll get into the spoiler zone. So we'll start with you, Elton. What did you think of Saltburn?
I enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm.
I have read other places though that it is like the talented Mr.
Ripley.
Cruel Intentions type thing.
What? Okay,
yeah, a crossover
Intentions.
between the two movies. But I think it's a solid movie. Cast is great. Normally, I don't have any time for Richard E. Grant.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
he's an actor that I don't get. But this, I thought he was brilliant in.
Yeah.
And I thought the rest of them were really good. I thought there was going to be a massive twist right in the middle. And I was going, oh, it's going to be one of these, isn't it? And I'll mention that in the spoiler zone because it's not, but I'd like to mention it later.
Yep.
I had fun with it, but there's some gross bits in it as well.
Yeah.
Which made me go, what the fuck am I watching here? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I like a film that makes me think that. I had a journey with it. I felt something for it. So I would recommend this, definitely. Maybe not to everyone, but if I hear that fucking song again...
Yes. What song's that?
Oh, man. Don't. Oh.
What? I know I'm
Elton.
not doing it. I'm promising. I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
If you don't want to listen to something, right, don't mention it here. Man. It's like saying, I've got a secret.
Yeah.
I'm telling you it.
Yeah. I promise. Yeah. I promise. Yeah. It's just I won't do it.
Yeah.
If you want to spread a secret, there's two ways: telegraph and tell a Lee.
Thank you. Well, since you mentioned it, hold on. What's this? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the dance. Here we go.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you go. See, it was fine. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have been fine. But
No.
So, seeing as this is the third time we've listened to this song, what do we all feel about the tune? Do we feel it's... how many stars would we give it?
I think it's got some funkiness to it, but I'm going to turn it off before we break the copyright line. There you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I've got.
Hey Lee,
Yeah? Yes?
I mean Elton, are you so mad now that you're gonna tear this goddamn house right down? Is that what you're gonna do?
Because if you think you'll get away, I will do you wrong.
I'll tell you, you better not feel that. You better not feel the groove,
DJ. I'm going to burn this goddamn house right down right now. Yeah.
Flip it out.
I will do you wrong.
Yes. Anyway, so you liked it, but we'll discuss things in the spoiler zone.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Oh, hold on 1 second.
ASMR. Excuse me while I have a spunky water break.
Yeah, hold on. I think your drains need doing. Hold on.
These bits are a bit chewy. God.
That's not going to come back to haunt us over and over again, is it? Anyway, so Darren, what did you think of it?
What did I think of it? Like Elton, strangely enough, I enjoyed it. I like strange. I do like strange little films. Even though they, in the end, they can make you go fucking hell. And I did do this. Especially at one point, and there, I've learned that part of this film, one scene in particular, was actually ad-libbed. And when Ree told me this, all I could see was like I could just see the director sitting there in his director chair, looking through a lens, and then suddenly just like looking to the side to see if he's like seeing things. Just what the fuck are you?
What?
What are you? Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I really did. But I will reveal the actual ad-libbed part.
Yeah.
Yes, as we do the review.
Oh God!
Oh man, that was rank.
Yeah.
It's
better than Mr. Muscle, though.
The strange bit about that is
we've all been there. Come on, just me. Hello.
Okay, yeah, just you.
Is this on? Hello.
Are we broke? What do you mean we're on? We're on live.
What do you mean you're recording, you motherfucker? Ah!
Yeah. You know this is a live stream tonight, don't you?
Yeah. Quick, put Sophie Ellis BEXTOR on, please. Save myself.
Oh God, no.
That bit you keep playing there. The strange thing is that while that was going on, it wasn't the fact that he was doing it that was kind of putting me off a bit. It was I'm sitting there going, somebody could walk in and see him do that. That's all I was worried about. I was feeling the awkward. It's like get the fuck up, 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 get the fuck up.
Wow. Okay,
he's standing in the doorway, isn't he? Go on, explain that one.
Yeah, hold on. I think you've got a different one. You're going down the level, my friend. Anyway, right. For me, I enjoyed it. It took me a while to warm up to it. I thought I knew where it was going, and it didn't. This is all I can say. Not often I'm surprised. I mean, I kind of started to twig things around about midway through, but I think everyone did by that point. But yeah, overall, I liked it. It's quirky. It's odd. It has a little problem with believing that the audience can work it out for itself by the end. But overall, I liked it. So I'll leave it there for the moment. And what about you, Jim? Because none of us have seen this, so this was a complete shot in the dark for you as well, wasn't it?
Well, it was. It was kind of, it's tonight, get lynched, marking diary. But no, we sat down to it. It was kind of, I wanted to see it, and it was getting really just close to that point where someone's going to blab and just let the cat out the bag. So that's why I picked it. And then I sat down and watched it and go, Christ, what am I letting myself in for here? However, I did really, really enjoy this movie. I mean, I know there are, as we'll get to, there are some very gross bits in it. But on the other side, you've got this dark sort of sense of humour to it, if you know what I mean, which I think just lifts it into a slightly different bracket. And I thought it was very interesting, kind of like almost like cross-genre filmmaking. As I say, it didn't go where I thought it was going at all.
No.
But, I did really enjoy. I really enjoyed that. I think Elton sort of said, you feel like you've been on a real journey with this film.
Yes. Yeah, definitely a journey.
Yeah. And so, but I've been actually reading up on it today, and it's kind of, the theories that are out there about people are coming up with. It's kind of, this is a mark of a good film that sort of generates kind of not tinfoil hat theories, but real kind of discussion about people going, but does that mean this? Or what was his intentions and blah, blah, blah. All really, really interesting stuff. And it's kind of, it's a film I will go back to because I think it is just a really sensational bit of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Maybe not for everyone, but, it's definitely, it's worth seeing to see if it is for you or not.
Yeah, it's a film once seen, never forgotten, and whether or not you appreciate that or not is another matter entirely.
We will not foot the bills for any therapy.
No.
Say that now.
No, you knew what you were getting into when you heard this cast and decided to carry on watching it. So, that's all I can say about that. Okay, then. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the old spoiler zone. If you don't want to know anything about Saltburn, and I strongly suggest if you have any interest in watching it, you don't listen further. You've heard our kind of general thoughts. Just pause this and go and watch it. It's just don't watch it with your nan in the room. That's my only suggestion. I it's going to be one of those films where your dad or your mum gets up awkwardly to make a cup of tea about 20 times in the film runtime, and decides not to come back or do some pruning or go somewhere else. Yeah, but like I say, do watch it and then come back, but don't ruin it for yourself by listening to us. Other than knowing that Murder on the Dance Floor features at some point. So, yeah, we'll roll the newly minted the newly minted spoiler zone. Tetsu Canada.
Oh man!
Oh, thank you, BBC Stereophonic Workshop CD number 15.
I feel unclean. I'm just going to go and have a bath. Right?
Yes.
Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds of 3.
Yes. So here we are. Spoiler zone. You can only blame yourself now.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know where to start with asking questions about this damn thing, but
well, look, I'll tell you what. I'll start off right by telling you what the ad-libbed part was.
Right. Yes. Do that because that'll be we can start from there. Go on.
Yep. It was the grave fucking. That was the ad-lib part.
Oh, really? Okay.
Really?
Yep. That wasn't part of the script. He basically got down and dirty, and they kept it in. So, can you imagine that? They're sitting there watching him do his thing, and it's like just the director just suddenly tilts to the side out of the ledge.
What's he doing?
Barry, what you do with little Barry? You know?
Well, I think by that point, everyone had seen little Barry several times by that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He stands up, and then Charlie Dimmock comes along and puts a little bulb in the hole.
I think he was putting his bulb in the hole, if I'm honest.
Yeah, just a bit.
To be perfectly frank. Right, okay, so here we go. Let's get round to this thing. I mean, firstly, because I'm kind of curious just to start, where did you think this film was going initially? Before it all goes on the wonk, before everything changes, what did you think this film was actually going to be? And the reason I ask that is because when it starts off, it seems to be a sort of, to me, a very sort of standard kind of outcast in university coming of age story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all I really knew, and that's kind of all I kind of was expecting from it. I was expecting a kind of dirty version of, I don't know, Dead Poets Society or something. So what about you guys? What were you actually expecting before it arrived?
Well, I'll tell you what I was expecting, because I didn't read anything about this film, right? I just heard people going, oh, Saltburn this, what? Chin rub. And I looked at the cast, and it's got Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant. And I'm thinking, this is going to be one of those cheeky little 4 weddings and a funeral type affair. And we're like, somebody does or something, like some slightly embarrassing or awkward moments in it that are going to be quite funny, This is it. There'll be some nice, gentle humour in this.
Genital humour.
What I didn't realise was it was going to be, Club for Narcissists. Because, damn.
Nice. Okay. That's fair. Cool. What about you, Elton? What were you expecting when this kicked off?
Well, I was trying to work it out. I thought it was heading somewhere. It was kind of treading water at the very beginning. It was going. It felt like it was static in Oxford, and it felt like it wanted to go somewhere else, and it wasn't. But that was just like the preamble to everything. And I think when we got into the big house, I honestly thought vampires.
Interesting.
And this was before he did the thing And I promise you, on my life, this is what I thought. And I thought, okay, fine. You've got the handsome young gentleman bringing other people in. And when they were talking about, oh, well, you're much better than the other person, I thought, yeah, they fucked other people over and eaten them, and you'll find them in the dungeon somewhere. So that's where I thought it was going. And I was getting disappointed. I didn't want fucking vampires. I've had enough of vampires. And so when it wasn't, I was like, thank goodness it didn't do that.
Interesting. The vampires, that's an interesting take.
That's a total left field suggestion, I think.
Though I can see it. I can see it. I mean...
Well, no, I've heard that the director, Emerald Fennell...
Emerald Fennell.
Yeah, she said one of the influences was Nosferatu.
But that would make sense. I mean, there's lots of monochrome shooting, especially on the birthday party. There's lots of stuff with shadow play.
Yep.
There's lots of implications of stuff going up, climbing. Lots of stuff.
Lots of mirrors as well.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, fine. They're setting up the stall of, you can see people in mirrors. These are their rules that they're laying out for it. And I thought, okay, let's see where it goes. And I'm so glad it didn't. But there are lots and lots of hints of it.
Okay, interesting. Well, I tell you what, we'll come back to the vampire thing because there's one scene which really does kind of just lay that out flat, and you think, oh, hang on. this has gone on the wonk. Blue moon. So what about you, Jim? What were you expecting?
I'm not sure. It's one of these films I kept hearing about it, and it was kind of one of those films. Kind of everyone talks about the title, no one says what it's about, which usually gets my hackles up and kind of, you know what I mean? Like, if this film has a story, why can't you tell me what it is?
Yes. It's
often a red flag for like award sort of season bait of a film that's actually about nothing. That's why you get lots of adjectives about the film, but not one shred of plot of, it's about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had picked up kind of I'd seen like a trailer for Amazon Prime, and from a few things I heard kind of, it's divisive, it's disturbing, it's weird. And like from what I see on the trailer, I thought, this maybe it's going to be kind of like a gothic take, really black, dark, cruel take on sort of Brideshead Revisited. And, basically this poor sod's going to go to this country house, get sucked into the world of these people who are just incredibly toxic and horrible and evil. But other than that, I didn't really have much idea. And only when I started with the setup, it's kind of, it reminds me of a novel and a movie, The Go-Between by L.P. Hartley.
Right.
Which sort of is very similar. There's kind of a, sort of, shall we say, someone from the lower echelons at a public school, and he gets invited to go and stay at his friend's house for the summer, and his friend is incredibly mega posh. And what happens there basically destroys him for the rest of his life psychologically.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is what this is doing. I've got you. Aha, L.P. Hartley, good one. Yeah, got your number.
Yeah. And then
it got me good and proper. Didn't it? It totally did.
Yeah.
So very well played.
Yeah, I mean, there's I was going to say that because there's plenty of stories we've seen before where it's like, young naive person gets pulled into a sort of like, world of debauchery and, excess, which is, typifies the upper classes and all that kind of thing. So for the film to go the way it did and sort of turn everything slowly on its head, I found quite interesting. But I was in the same sort of boat. I was kind of like, this is just going to be some kind of, filthy coming of age kind of. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I got to hang out with my rich friend, and we snogged and shagged, and then I went home, and my life was depressing ever since, sort of thing. So when it all turned around, it was kind of like, oh, okay, right, that's fair enough, okie dokie. So just to return to that thing with the vampirism, I mean, the more I think about it, just because you brought it up, Elton, there's a certain element, again, going back to the whole idea of, naive person pulled into a sort of debauched family.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, and this is going to be a left field one, but Near Dark.
Ooh.
Oh, well, yes, yeah.
The idea of like the sort of matriarch and patriarch who are kind of out of touch, out of time, don't really know what's going on around them, but they just carry on because that's all they've ever done. And then this kind of naive kid gets sort of pulled into the family, and there's one family member who absolutely hates him, and then there's this sort of other family member who he's kind of lusting after, and then shit goes south. As the shit goes south, and then revenge must be had, and so it's kind of interesting, that whole vampiric thing. But
I was expecting a Dusk Till Dawn type thing as well.
Right. Oh, right. You were expecting it to go
that kind of full-on swerve, yeah.
Yeah, where it is just a massive left turn. You're left going, oh, wow, I was not expecting that. But, man, it suits it. It totally suits it. Yeah.
So, okay then. Well, just coming away from that for 1 second, let's get to the heart of the matter, because we're in the spoiler zone. And obviously, if you're still listening to this and you're in the spoiler zone, you've only got yourself to blame if we spoil the film for you now. But at what point, with this film, do you think Oliver actually had a plan to infiltrate and take over and basically eat from the inside Saltburn?
Well, at the end of the film, you see that he'd already been planning stuff, right from causing the tyre to burst on his bike, talking to the sister as well while he was there. I think he had something in his... He wanted... I think he wanted what they had, just in general. He wanted... This is it. This is the life he wanted. He didn't want to go back home. He didn't want to, live that life. He wanted the lifestyle they had.
So my question is to all of you. I mean, is that the whole point? Did he go to Oxford purely because, not only because he was smart, but he went there expressly with the game plan of, leaving his middle class family behind, taking over a rich family, utterly destroying them and taking everything they owned from the start?
I think that probably came after. Actually, thinking about it now, I think the original plan was just to get with Felix. That was it. He wanted to be everything. He wanted to be the Felix's world. That was it. Right?
Right.
Vice versa.
Right.
And then the rather awkward thing of finding out on his birthday, Felix is taking him to his mum. Only to be revealed that his parents are actually quite well-adjusted people who live in a really nice house. And that whole thing of keeping him there for the entire day and the false smile that Felix puts on, you can just see it's not fitting the face at all.
No.
That's it. But it was after that humiliation, after the rejection, that's when he's kind of like, well, if I can't have you, no one else can. Right. And that's it. And I'm going to take everything. I'm going to just consume this world. And every single person that said anything, got in his way, he done away with. That's it.
I think the character's like a leech. In the fact that I think he went to the uni with a plan to leave the parents behind. Maybe it was too suffocating. Maybe it's a bit too boring for him. I'm not too sure. I don't think he went to uni with a plan of, I'm going to infiltrate a family and take their whole possessions. Right. I think that happened later on. And there are a few stages. He went into the room with the professor or whoever it was, the academic, and the other guy sat down with him. And that was where everything was born out of.
Mm.
And it slowly progressed. And I think you're right, Darren, with going to the parents, that was no, you must all burn. You must all die. This must never happen, and I will take everything you have. I think that was the moment there.
Mm.
But yeah, I think he is a bit of a leech of... He wants what he wants. He'll use who he can to get it, because we saw how quickly he dropped his friend in the bar when he got in with the family.
His friend just asked me a fucking maths question. Yeah.
He wasn't a friend.
No, I know he wasn't. He was
not
just
a friend at all.
He was a stepping stone. That's all he was.
Yeah.
But to the stepping stone, he was his friend.
Mm.
And he was being used. He was the leech. He sucked him dry, and then that was it. And then I think there is a massive thing in the middle with the girl of the leech thing and the vampiric thing, and it's all there.
Mm.
But yeah, I think he decided to burn it down where Darren said.
Right.
He decided to do it. But I think the plan was, what can I do? Where can I go? Let's see what I can do here.
Okay. What about you, Jim?
Tinfoil hat theory?
Go for it. Fill your boots. I think we're open for those ones today.
There's a theory that I've seen online, and it did sort of cross my mind towards the end. Is his first contact, his first friend, Mr. Maths Nerd. There's a theory that he was one of Felix's previous quote-unquote toys.
Okay. Well, that would certainly make sense.
Basically, he's got a whole wealth of background on the family before he even meets Felix.
Right.
And he knows this is a thing that happens. You get invited to Saltburn for summer. Felix takes to you.
Yeah,
and then that's when the master plan starts.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, I mean, Jim, if you've got any other things you want to throw in before I go down because I'm very acutely aware I'm in that sort of primed moment of saying something and then going off down the road.
So Oliver,
me, there's I think there's evidence in the movie to suggest that Oliver has, had really targeted Felix from the get-go. That's one valid reading of it, I think.
Yeah.
For me, I tend to personally feel that he was more opportunistic, and there's various things happen where he by the end we know he is a compulsive liar. Although liar is the wrong word, he's
a sociopath.
He's a sociopath. The truth is completely relative to whatever he wants at that time. And so, therefore, we can't necessarily trust anything we see in flashback or see him doing. Is it his perception of events, or is it is what really happened? I think there is an argument for there's a blurry line there as well.
Yeah, because what I was going to say was the one thing thinking back on it. And I will admit openly that I did not do any reading to this. I kind of watched the review afterwards just to see if I was thinking sort of clearly or if I'd missed something entirely. But the one thing that comes back to me on this is that Oliver sets himself up as a honey trap, because he does, for want of a much better term, he does misery porn. He literally sets himself up, and I was trying to work out, and that's why I was asking you guys about the sort of plan and when it came to fruition. But when he plays the whole, my parents, one's a drug dealer, the other one's alcoholic, one's dead, not, he's doing it in a way because that's the kind of, well, as the daughter says, you're more real. I can see why he likes you. And that's literally from the get-go. So to me, it felt like, just watching it again, that it was kind of the film already did the whole subversion of the normal themes, because normally you got like the rich people use up the poor people, throw them away, discard them as toys, whereas straight from the off it's the reverse. It's the poor / middle class literally making themselves bait from the start, because they know that will, because Oliver knows that people will be, people like Felix, like Rosamund Pike's character, is it Elsa or
Elspeth?
Elsbeth, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Will be drawn in by the drama because they're so bored, they're so closeted from the real world that stuff like that, they don't put two and two together and go, fuck off, that sounds like well too much, And, that to me felt like it was so premeditated from the very start. And I just thought, oh, okay. It's not eat the rich. It's literally get eaten by the rich deliberately so that you can set yourself up and fucking destroy them from the inside from the start.
Mm.
I suppose looking back quite early on, he does that sort of eavesdropping just before he meets the family.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the way in hindsight, when he goes and he sits down between Elspeth and Kerry Mulligan's character, it is kind of like, shift up, love. Your part of this ride is over now.
Yeah, well, exactly, because then all of a sudden she stops being the friend. She stops being the interesting thing. She's immediately, go to the kitchen. Where's the kitchen?
Yes.
Go to the kitchen. Fuck off. She's a lovely girl, but doesn't take hints very well. And yeah, so to me, it was just like right from the start, Oliver's there setting himself up as an interesting character for these closeted, mollycoddled, idiots who basically just want to be near something that feels quote unquote real. Anyway, sorry, you were going to say something about Oliver there, Elton. You were going to jump in.
I can't remember now.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
fine. That's cool.
It'll come back.
So just a question. At what point did people realise that the worm was turning and that actually you were looking at this picture upside down, as it were?
The moment he spoke to the sister and the way he approached her when she was outside.
What the
that suddenly he went from awkward and he went from socially awkward to this smooth,
in control.
This he kind of
his voice changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like he's a polymorph. He's like he knows exactly what the people actually want, and so he transforms into that.
That's another of the theories I read online.
Yeah,
really?
That what he does is the theory is called Oliver completes everyone's base needs.
Yeah, he says that too.
He sort of
Felix.
He transforms depending on who he's with.
Yeah, changes into this other individual. With Felix, he was this this poor sort of like this poor kid who needed help from him, right? Who needed like a brother of size.
Yeah, needs protection, needs supporting.
Yeah.
Sort of
this
thing.
is it. It's what do I call that? It's oh crikey. Nope. It's
all right. We know what you mean. Go on.
Yeah. So there was that. But the thing that really kind of showed me that something was really up here was when he was talking to Felix's sister. When he goes into this, I know what you want.
Yeah. Is it
You're
Veneta
bleeding.
or Venetia?
Yeah. It's good job I'm a vampire then, eh?
Oh, yeah. Bloody fingers.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Exactly. That whole thing of like, sticking them in his mouth and licking them clean and stuff. And it's just, obviously this is a bit of excitement for this individual because of the way she, let's see, she takes herself away from the crowd, and it makes her more noticeable.
Yeah.
Me and you have encountered an individual like that who we will not mention, Lee, who sets himself apart from the crowd just so that people can notice them. And that's exactly what she did. And they say that as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed.
Answers on a postcard, please, to We're Not Telling, la la la, Living Mystery.
Yeah. Way back in the past.
Oh, yes.
But,
oh, yes.
Yeah. Beginning of the Black Dog, actually. I daren't say the name for fear of invoking them.
Yes.
Yes. They're like the Candyman.
Yep.
Anyway.
Look, you say it again in the mirror, and I tell you, I swear to God, he's going to appear. They're going to appear.
No, what you say is you look in the mirror and you go, Candygram from Mongo 3 times, and he appears. I'm not saying any more. I'm just saying.
You can't help yourself. I know you. You can't bloody help yourself.
No, I
Shut
won't
up.
say a word.
Shut up.
I know who you are, Batman, but I won't choose that. No. Yeah, so I think that's that there though. That definitely when he talks to the sister,
Venetia. Or
Venetia.
Yeah.
Can I just say, by the way, every time he kind of snapped back at Felix's mate, the one who didn't like him from the word go, because he basically just took him to task.
The cousin, Farley.
Farley,
yeah, him. I got a little sense of enjoyment out of that myself, personally.
Yeah.
You know, it's because he was a bit of a twat. That's it.
Well, the thing with Farley is that Farley was the original plaything.
Yeah,
he was the waif and stray brought back into the fold to be the new interesting new hotness until, was it dear Pauletta or whatever her name is?
Yeah.
You know, the turned up. At least that's how me reading between the lines. That's she was the next one along the line. That sort of ousted Farley as someone someone interesting to sort of study or to be near. Because there was the whole thing about like the fact that Farley's mum was running out of money and she was an ex of was it Richard E. Grant, and she was living in a tenement in New York and all this kind of thing.
Do you know what? The Farley and Felix relationship is a little bit like the Ken and Barbie relationship in the Barbie movie, whereas Felix has a good day every day, but Farley only has a good day when he's noticed by Felix.
Well, again, it goes back to that whole thing, and again, guys, if you feel like jumping in on this, but it's like it is that whole thing of, as long as you're the plaything, or as long as you're willing to whore yourself out to be the plaything, to be interesting, then you will remain in the good graces of the family. And then once you're in with the family, you're front and center, so you get all the privileges and all the fun sort of bestowed upon you, from like 200-person parties to to basically the free run of the house and getting to
actually we're talking about the whole thing of him ingratiating himself with various members of the house. I'm pretty sure the first one he did it to was Richard E. Grant, when he talks about the plates.
Yes,
and you see he's been reading the fucking catalogue.
Mm.
And that,
we have to get in with the head of the house.
Yeah. And then he tries it on with. I thought he tried it on with Elspeth. Because he does that whole thing of "you are beautiful."
You're fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you're fucking beautiful. And
so that's the scene for me where I suddenly thought, "Hang on," because he made comment about Pamela saying, "Well, how much it was true, ending for attention." And at that point, Chris Man goes, "I bet your dad's not dead."
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
did he kill Pamela then?
I think he might have said something to Pamela. Actually, or it could be that he actually did like Pamela.
But she was sent away, and I thought that was the funeral that they had to go to, wasn't it?
It was, because she topped herself pretty soon after that. Because he said to her, "So what's Pamela going to be wearing tonight?" And he sounded disappointed that she wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
So I think he might have actually quite liked her. Maybe it's the fact that he saw something in her by the fact that she was, let's see, they kind of tolerated her appearance.
Well, she does bring about one of the funniest lines in the film, which is when we all find out that she committed suicide, and then Elsbeth sits down with a drink in her hand and goes, "She'll do anything for attention."
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as far as Pamela's death is concerned, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Oliver was involved. But that leads me to the one weak point of the film, but I'll leave that for the moment. I was going to say, has anyone got anything else they want to bring up? Because I'm just rolling the...
Well, the Pamela thing is kind of, she says she's kind of lying low from her ex, who's a Russian billionaire. And it is mentioned that his business associates have been murdered in staged suicides.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a habit of falling out of windows. I love that line. It's actually quite a funny film the more you think about it as well, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, it sounds a bit serious. It's a lot of fun, Saltburn, but it kind of is, though. It's so beautifully played.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second time round actually watching this. Watching it with different eyes, watching where it kind of all falls into place and clicks into place, and how you do things as well, and how he's playing against other players as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna work on a couple of levels, definitely.
Yeah, multiple rewatches. I mean, so what do you think its actual message was? Because the thing is, on the one hand, you're like, okay, it's rich people are awful. Eat the rich. It's like lovely. We've been there, done that.
Yeah.
But do you think there's anything else it's trying to say? Because to me, Eat the Rich is kind of like right front and centre, right in like the first 5 minutes. Rich people in Oxford being all privileged. You're out of the club. You're left Billy no mates. So it's like, yeah, fine. That plot's already there. It's kind of taken for granted.
They seem like a lonely family. When you really look at it, it's a massive house and they all congregate in one room to watch DVDs.
Why is she wet? She's just climbed out of a well, Mum.
But it does look... They're come across as like a maybe not a tight-knit, but a knitted together well family that doesn't want to be away from each other. They all want to be with each other. They annoy each other constantly. They rub each other up the wrong way, but they're happy living like that. And they don't really bring other people in unless it's absolutely necessary. They have the option and the capacity to bring in many, many other people, like his birthday party. Oh, we'll just bring 200 people.
Yeah, who can't remember his name for the birthday song.
Nobody knows who he is. And I don't think there was a single person there that actually knew who he was. But they have this power of bringing people in. But when it's all said and done, it's just down to them. And when we first meet them, they're gibbering, jabbering. It is just like a normal family just having a chat in a room, but they're all kind of isolated in their own little pockets in the same room. It's a really weird balance.
So do you think one of the messages of the film is that, for all their privilege, they're basically isolated.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Loneliness. I think they're all a little bit lonely as well. Because as soon as Oliver turns up, he does pander to them, but they fucking lap it up.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What about you? What about you, Jim? Do you have any thoughts on that?
That struck me as well as kind of they're sort of incredibly rich, but it's kind of they've always been rich, don't know anything else, and they're actually just like I say, they are bored and isolated. And kind of at the end, he says, it's no predators until now.
Yeah.
Well, they are completely ripe for it. I mean, they think they're very arch and sort of cruel in the way they can, other people are toys. But really, it's amateur hour. They've got soft and they're out of touch and they can't see the shark in the pool that they're holding to their bosom. And, they're all very easily manipulated like that.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, they're being sort of slowly consumed by the house itself almost.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I mean, to be, the idea that they're closeted and soft and unaware of the world around them, which is also the reason why they bring him in the first place. They want to, they want to experience the new.
What's real life like?
What's real life like? What's it like being a real person? It's like
yes.
It's that whole God. I was going to say boy in the bubble, but that's not right. But it's that whole idea of you're completely isolated from everything by your own privilege. So, I mean, I guess the question is are we supposed to feel sorry for them because they are the soft underbelly thinking they're protected when they're not? Are we supposed to be rooting for Oliver to bring them down a peg or two? I mean, where is the loyalty of the audience almost?
I think once he starts to turn the screw, once Felix is killed, then I'm not on Oliver's side.
Right.
All the manipulation up until that point, I'm kind of, okay, yeah, fine. The family is letting themselves go. They are kind of blinkered in their own life that living in Saltburn will just protect them. It is their palace. It is their castle that nobody can get in. But what happens? Barry walks through the gates.
Yep.
In the very beginning, all this protective barrier around them, and he just walks through the gates, and the butler is there, standing there going, "Oh, we would have sent a car for you. Oh, you shouldn't have come through, but okay, in you come." And that's the first little warning sign of no, he wants to be there. He doesn't want anyone to turn around and say, no, you're not coming in this time. But yeah, I felt sorry. Started to feel sorry for the family because then once Felix dies, that is kind of the rock that's holding the family together. That is, well, we've still got Felix. If the daughter died, I think everyone would still look at Felix. He's still the main man.
Yes.
But once he goes, then you're kind of taking the stem out the corner of the cob, and all the corns are starting to fall down now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get it because he's like the stabilizing influence. He's the golden boy that they've invested in. They're sending on their way. It's he is the golden child, isn't he?
Yeah.
As soon as
and with the daughter and her little speech in the bath, I think she can see what's happening. She knows what's happening. He's coming for her, but she can't.
She can't
stop it.
Yeah. I think in her case, it's a case of she recognizes the what she would have done. Because again, Elspeth kind of can't keep her trap shut, so she's kind of always kind of laying out the fact that laying out the weaknesses of everyone. Whatever her name is, keep calling her Vesper, but she's not. She's Venetia. That's it. Venetia. Venetia will just lay herself out for display, like a common whore and all sort of thing. And it's like, she's putting it about. So already, Venetia's kind of, she's been served up by her own mother, to Oliver, because Oliver now knows that, Venetia just literally just needs attention. So hence the bulimia, the constantly flouting herself around, around Saltburn, around strangers, all this kind of thing.
I have to say, by the way, I don't think Elspeth had her own opinion on anything.
Really?
There's a bit. Yeah, no, she didn't. This is the thing. You see her talking to Barry Keoghan's character, right? Oliver, and she's asking him about what's her name? Is it Rose? What was the other woman?
Pamela.
Ruby.
Pamela.
Is it Pamela? Right. And he said, "Well, I thought she was this," and she goes, "Oh yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. Oh, I can see it now. Yeah." It's a bit like that sketch they used to do on the Far Show with that bloke who had an opinion, and then somebody would say something, and he would change it straight away to that opinion. Well, that's actually what I meant.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know a few people who are actually like that. In where I work, yes, I've spoken to a few, and it's amazing how. I mean, I'm not trying to do anything deliberate. It's just I say something, and suddenly that's their opinion. When it's like the complete turnabout from what you just said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean
that's what Elspeth to me seems like, easily influenced.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, that's that. I mean, blimey, I haven't been involved in this arena for bloody 8 years now. But in the old media world, that's something you will always see, and I kind of felt like that was kind of a dig at that kind of world, which is kind of if you've got someone who's a big star, or someone who's big and powerful in your industry or whatever, you can guarantee there will be at least 5 or 6 hangers-on who will just agree with, it's the 1984 thing, who are we at war with? Eurasia. Well, no, we're at war with Oceania, but we have a peace with Eurasia. That's right. Yes, we do. Well, we don't. Well, we do? No, we don't. Okay, then I believe that as well. And, it's that whole thing of people wanting to be in the favour of the big dog, or whatever you want to call them, in the room, and going, yes, you said black is white. I agree. And you go, no, white is black. No, yes, I totally agree. Yeah. And it's not so much a lack of opinion. It's more the fact it's just more of a sort of protection thing. It's a need to.
You want guidance. That's it. You want to be ruled, basically, and told what to think.
Yeah.
It's easier to be told what to think and think it than having to actually think about it yourself.
It's also that being like a pilot fish.
Yes.
Yeah. Where you sort of little fish, you follow the big predator and try, keep on its good side by grooming it so they don't get eaten, but they can pick up the crumbs.
Yes.
This does come back to play later on as well. When she asked Barry to come, she asked Oliver to come back to Saltburn. Because it's like she's got no patriarch there now to follow. So she needs one. And that's him.
But I think early on he spots, though, that Richard D. Grant doesn't pay her enough attention. He's completely self-absorbed in his own little world. He's always sat reading the paper, and it's all, what? Yes, what, dear?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And he sees she has that need for someone to pay her attention.
Yeah. Which is his first go at sort of like, you're fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
That bit where Richard E. Grant, where he's by Felix's body, and he just needs to be warmed up.
Yeah,
it's that not, as you say, Jim.
Yeah.
It's that. He's
kind of a helicopter husband. He's not fully present all of the time. He occasionally gets engaged to kind of, I know, fancy dress.
He doesn't like dealing with serious stuff. That's the thing. He's very flippant. He's very let's not. Don't look at the serious thing over here. Like we're about to serve some roast beef. Let's have that. Hurrah! Yes, lovely. You better go inside, dear. Why is that? They're about to serve lunch. Yes. Oh, yes. Of course.
And Elspeth's her weakness of kind of just saying yes and no to everyone is hidden by her blabbermouth.
Yes. Again, it's that whole thing of wanting to feel like you're part of something, to have information, to have things that you want to impart that people want to hear.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get too deep into this, but I know a fair few people that they want to be in every single conversation. And if there's a conversation going on, if you're in the kitchen at one end and they're at the other end, they want to be involved in all the conversations going on, and the one in the front room as well, and the one that's happening down the street. And they'll let you know that they want to be a part of that as well. And it is a weakness of, no, chill, listen. How about listen to other people's theories or conversations? But no, you just need to pile in and say your thing. But it's kind of, it's a vacuum of information. There's just nothing there. It's just you talking.
Yeah. Well, funny you say that. I'm going to let you talk, but I just want to step in and say no. Sorry, carry on, Dow.
Weirdly, as I was saying, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm just waffling on now." Aren't I?
Barry, fucking Oliver.
You have to be careful because I keep thinking Barry Shitpeas, but anyway, go carry on.
Well, like, it's about this bloke who goes off to a posh house with all these posh people, and he gets involved a bit, and then he has a bit of a dodgy sort of like meeting up with a sister and that, and then somebody spots him and tries to dub him in, and so what he does is he ruins their life and all by saying, like, getting hold of their phone and sending off an email saying that they've spotted some plates. Do you want to buy them? Like on the hookie. No, the Oliver himself is kind of like a cuckoo.
Yes,
because it's if just in case then nobody knows what I'm talking about. When the babies cuckoo eggs are dropped into a nest, and then they slowly take over. So it whatever they
push out the chicks.
Yeah, they do until they're the only ones left. So yeah, very much so like that.
Can I say something I didn't like about this movie?
Well, yeah, that would be good because I have one thing I want to bring up, but yeah, go on.
Spunky bathwater? No, okay.
Sorry.
You haven't got the sound of someone chewing some stuff either.
Well, I can have. Cause I've got the BBC sound effects, mate.
I've got the BBC Spunky Water sound effects.
Funny enough, that's exactly what it's classed as. Disc number 88, Spunky Water.
Spunky Water, right.
Anyway, sorry, Elton, go on. Yeah,
what Jasper Carrot song, isn't it? Spunky Water? Oh, no, sorry, it's Funky Moped. Yeah.
Okay, so something I didn't like was the kind of flashback to it was all a plan all of along. Here's the pin going into the tire and all the other things. I don't think we needed that.
That's funny enough exactly what I was going to bring up. That's exactly the same problem I had. I totally agree.
Did we need it? We kind of knew what was going on anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But I think seeing him put the thumbtack into the tire raises the question: when did he start planning this? How far back? How deep does his plans go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That thumbtack, I think, is kind of. We don't need to see. Is probably that does add something to it. Seeing him put pills into the champagne bottle he's going to give to Felix doesn't really add anything. We can assume that. But I think the thumbtack in the bike tire is a kind of, oh my God, how far back was he planning this? Was this the plan all along? We don't know. It's a question. Did he really love him? Did he turn against him? And that adds all that into it. But also, I think that flashback as well, you get an alternative shot of him hugging the headstone rather than fucking the grave. And that also, I think, how much of what we see is his fantasy.
Yeah.
And that there is he is a very unreliable narrator. And how much of that flashback of, I planned it all along, is true in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that would make sense. That would make sense, considering he wants to be better than he actually is. Wow.
But they could have. I would say that he was a character that would go out to the grave a number of times.
Oh yes, yeah. He's it doesn't have to be one or the other, but there is an implication there. I mean, another thing that is the thing with the mirror. When he smashes the mirror and then it's replaced. Did he really smash the mirror and then they replaced it? Because that's what they do at Saltburn. Everything gets swept away under the carpet. And just everything carries on, appearances, and no one says anything. Yeah. Or was that just a fantasy?
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was something I was kind of wondering about with the mirror, because I thought, oh wow, hang on, so what? Duncan, the ever present, suddenly has magically appeared, taken care of the fucking mirror, fixed it, and and it's like, really?
Yeah, I like the butler though. I thought he looked like the actor that played General Zod. I forget his name though.
Terrence Stamp.
Yeah, he had that air about him.
Okay.
And Felix as well. He had that air of the son in Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, Walt Jr. or whatever.
Yeah, Walt Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, I say that I never really watched Breaking Bad past the first couple of episodes, but yeah, he did. As far as it goes, the butler. The one thing I would say about the butler, which I thought was kind of just waiting to happen, was the butler actually, going to be the guy who pulls the pin and reveals the plan, so to speak. The one who's
part of it.
Yeah, either part of it or the one who's going to just, fuck it all up for Oliver by saying, I've been sitting there. You may not have noticed me, but I noticed you.
Yeah.
Because the one thing it seems to be doing all the time is doing this whole thing of, they're so rich and so privileged that, the people that they've used up and the people they've indulged for a while and then discarded are suddenly ignored entirely. And then I thought, they're going to go that way with Oliver, that as he becomes more privileged and in this privileged world, he will start to miss people and ignore people who are beneath him. So 1 minute he's like, I've got to be friends with the butler. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, I haven't noticed the butler for the last, 2 hours of run.
Appearing, doesn't he? Mysteriously.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden I'm in the same strata as the people who are looking after me in this house. And now I'm going to, I'm ignoring the butler, and the butler's going to be my downfall, sort of thing. Yeah. I was kind of expecting that to be a thing, but they never really did that. The butler remained steadfastly used, rather than actually doing anything of his own free will.
Would you have accepted the film if all this shit goes on with Oliver, and then the last scene, one of the last scenes, is the butler confronting Oliver and saying to him, I know what you've done, this, and this. And the last thing that he says to him is, I think it's time for you to leave. And then the next thing, it fades away to the next morning, and people are looking for Oliver, and they can't find him. And the butler just says, he went home.
Yeah, discreetly left, yeah.
And that's it. And they just leave it at that. So it's left open to the whole thing of, did the butler fucking do away with him?
Well, yeah. I mean, that kind of thing speaks to the problem that Elton had and I kind of had, which was the ambiguity of some of these things. was, and something like that would be the same sort of deal. The ambiguity of the ending would have been a much nicer ending than the "we don't trust you to work it out for yourself, so here's Oliver spilling the beans."
Yep. And now have some dancing floppy disco cock.
Flappy disco cock.
Yep. Dancing floppy disco cock.
Yeah.
Flapping on the dance floor.
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to say you could have had the other Sophie Ellis BEXTOR one crying at the discotheque, but but that was the bit that was the weak bit. That was the weak link for me. I'm with Elton on this one. It's that whole thing of you didn't need to explain it. You really didn't, and the less you knew, the better it would have been. I think, because you could sit there and. It's like
well, he does the twirling moustache thing while he's sitting on top of Elsbeth.
Exactly, and whereas I like the in some ways it reminded me a bit like has anyone seen Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Oh yes, yeah.
That there's, without spoiling it, someone runs into Henry. And you don't see anything. You just literally just cut from him meeting someone to a suitcase by the side of the road, and you're like, and it just the camera just hangs on that suitcase by the side of the road. Now, that could just be a suitcase by the side of the road, or or it might not, and that to me was more powerful than seeing Henry, do some horrible macabre thing to this poor person.
Yeah.
And that, I think, would have worked for Saltburn. That, Oliver meets Felix in the middle of the maze, and then next thing you know, oh, he's dead. He talks to the Felicia, or whatever her name is, Venetia, in the bath. And next thing, she's dead. It's like you can put those bits together, but until you see something explicit, you're only relying on the narration of say Richard E. Grant going, "Oh, she couldn't take it anymore."
Yeah,
and that to me is much more powerful than having someone go, "And then I went out and I put a tack in the tire, and then I went out and put the pills in the drink, and then I went over here and I pulled this, air thing out of your nose." Because the one thing they didn't do was show him offing Richard E. Grant. So again, you're left with this kind of, well, did he kill him, or did Richard E. Grant just die? What's the deal there?
Well, he was kind of refusing to leave, wasn't he? Richard E. Grant wanted to get rid of him because he'd just buried his daughter.
But
I'm trying to remember what happened now.
And he said how much, and was going to write him a check, and then you never see him again.
And he refused to leave, and that was the moment you saw finally the power dynamic shifts completely.
Yeah.
Into Oliver's favour.
Yeah.
Because he's now bested the head
patriarch.
Of the family.
Yeah,
the patriarch. The patriarch is now powerless against him, and that is it.
Yeah. So it was just. I would have preferred the ambiguity rather than the explicit laying it out. But there you go. That's just me. Has anyone got anything?
But there is a
Sorry,
way
Jim.
she talks about how Sir James died.
Mm.
He was kind of it was like he balled it up for years, and it was still a shock. The implication is he did commit suicide.
Yeah.
So whether Oliver had anything to do with that, I don't know, because by that point we into the future. And it is kind of, my personal was that at that point he thought, well, I can if I hang around, I've got to get rid of Sir James, but that will look too iffy. But I can just take the payoff
Yeah. Live
and
well.
then, and then play the long game.
That's fair. Yeah, especially seeing he does that whole, I don't want you to see my wife ever again, and then 5 minutes after he's dead, suddenly there's Oliver in the same cafe. Like,
Well, that's it, and you get a shot of what he's been typing on the laptop. It's just gibberish.
Yeah,
he knows full well she's got a flat in that area. She goes to that coffee shop, and he's just lying in wait for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
To engineer a chance meeting.
Yeah, but again, did you need to see that he was typing gibberish?
I think that this typing gibberish just clues you in again of kind of he was playing a very long game.
Yeah,
this isn't just a chance meeting exploit. This is what's played for, shall we say?
Fair, that's fair. Cool. Any last thoughts? Because I'm acutely aware of the time. But anyone got anything last minute they want to bring up on this? Because I think it's very easy for us to sit here and go right down the rabbit hole with a lot of different theories.
Yeah.
But I'm also acutely aware that we've been talking about this for close on nearly 80 minutes now. So does anyone have any final thoughts they want to bring up?
No, I think I've said what I wanted to say. It's bloody good.
Me too.
Okay. I mean, my last question was going to be did anyone feel that these characters were so repellent you couldn't root for any of them?
Well, I think kind of in many ways they're not good people, but they're kind of just a lot of unthinkingly cruel. And I mean, I got the impression that actually Felix actually genuinely did like Oliver and genuinely thought he was doing the right by his mate by taking him to see his mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might be mega rich, but there was some decency in him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I would go along with that. I think I wouldn't say he was entirely innocent, mind you, but
no, but I think he had such redeeming qualities that the others were just too damaged.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So again, that makes his loss the key linchpin for the collapse of the family. Cool. Okay then. Well, that was an interesting chat, and I the more I think about it, the more I like this film. I wasn't going to go back and watch it again in a hurry because gargling cummy buff wasn't really my thing, but yeah, I might just do that. Actually, might give it another watch and see how I feel. But yeah, brilliant, good choice, Jim. Very well, nice pick. I like that. Yeah. Cool. So that's that for the moment. If anybody has any thoughts on Saltburn or wants to give any feedback on that, or just profess their love for air fat fryers, I don't fucking know.
Come one, come all. All shall be welcome within the church of the fryer.
Yeah, fryer fuck. Right. Anyway,
Why are you doing R in a northern accent?
How did you know? Clearly, I was doing it right. Clearly. Oh, ibygone. Anyway. Where's my whippet? There you go. That's the phrase for this week. Where is my whippet? But before we get to the end of the podcast, we've got to find out what is next week's movie, and it is your pick, Elton.
It is, yes, and
you've been teasing us and threatening us all night.
Well, I was very disappointed because I was going to pull a pin, and there are a couple of films I've said no, I need to pull the pin on that, and Yeah, I just needed a bit of fun, and I was going to pull the G.I. Joe pin. Unfortunately, I think on New Year's Day, it was pulled from Amazon on the free stuff. So, yeah, I know. You guys are just going to have to wait for that.
Or did I just block it from your router using a VPN?
You may have done that as well. So I've decided instead, there were a couple of things. I was thinking of Don't Look Up, but that's a massive film. It's a film that I found hideous when I first watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to go back and review it, but I just thought, oh, no, not a Leo one. Not just yet. I can't be bothered.
No.
So I've decided to do a film called The White Tiger.
Oh,
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Right.
I've seen it and I really enjoyed it.
The White Tiger, 2021.
Is this
film.
about an American glam metal band? Oh, that's White Lion. Phew, thank Christ for that.
Okay. Interesting. We may be following a theme here, but looking at the quick lineup, it says here, a rich Indian family's ambitious driver uses his wit and cunning to escape from poverty and rise to the top as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So between this, Saltburn, and Parasite, all of which we've done, I think we're really covering that kind of...
Covering all the bases.
We're really covering that kind of rise through the classes kind of thing, aren't we? So
Yeah.
Nice, okay. All right, well, I know you've seen it. Jim, have you seen this?
I've not even heard of it, I'll be honest.
Ditto. So I'm going to assume you haven't. Dal, have you seen this?
No.
Nope.
Not at all.
Okay, brilliant. Well, that's a...
I've heard of it, but I've not actually seen it.
Right, okay. Well, White Tiger. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, on Netflix, the Netflix film, actually, called White Tiger. It's going to be an interesting one, because...
It's a controversial movie as well, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's all about class systems, and some people weren't too happy with this film. The way it portrays class systems. I think it's in India.
Right. Well, I mean, God forbid we watch a controversial film about class systems after.
But see, you could have had G.I. Joe, but they took it off.
Curse you, Bezos.
It's no different, G.I. Joe. It's that's also about class systems.
Class systems as well.
Class systems, yeah. Where would we be if we didn't know what Cobra Commander thought about the world's financial district?
Hey, he has many deep thoughts. He really does.
He does indeed. Cool. Okay, so White Tiger. It's on Netflix, and we'll be reviewing that next week. Interesting. Cool. So, before we go, it's over to Pimp's Corner. Jim, you're going to tell us what's going on in the wonderful world of Hypnagoria.
Yes, I've just released a new reading of a lighter story by H.P. Lovecraft, The Cats of Ulthar.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, it'll be back to Universal Horror History, looking, among other things, films such as Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Nice. Okie dokie. And Elton, anything going on with you, sir?
Can't think of anything. No, nothing's going on.
And you can find all that over at rogue2media.com.
Yes.
Lovely. And Darren?
Absolutely fuck all.
One day I'm going to ask you, you're going to
no.
shock the fuck out of me and say, yes, actually, I'm doing a podcast on the BBC.
Yes.
Or something.
Indeed.
Cool. Okay, then. Well, we'll leave it there. I've left the caption for this week that you got to leave in the feedback. It's in there. You'll have to go and hear it, and then post it up on the Facebook group. The Facebook group is, of course, facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. And that's it. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
And thank you all for listening. And we shall see you all next week, when we will be back for White Tiger. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da. That's not a burp.
Oh, bollocks to it.